Thank you all for being so patient with me for Plaid Week, and I'm so excited to continue for Plaid Week day 6 out of 7. So today I am making a mommy doggy matching scarf or daddy doggy matching scarf, whatever. Okay, so I'm so excited. I hope that you guys love this concept. I'm showing you the materials I have. So what I'm doing is I picked out a scarf that I already had in my collection to use it as a guide, as like a guide for width and length and things like that. And I basically just put it out on something big enough like a couch or a bed so that I could measure it out with the fabric that I was actually going to make my scarf with. Now this plaid scarf material that I got, which is like a fleece, which is nice, it's going to keep you warm. It's going to keep your puppy warm, especially if you live in cold climate areas. And I got this at Hobby Lobby. Love this navy green plaid. It's my favorite. So I basically put it on top of my normal original scarf that was made by someone else, and I am not a scarf professional maker by any means. I've never made a scarf before, so this was my very first time, and I did have to make some edits, which you'll see later on. So I'm basically just cutting so that I can get the length that I want. I did get about 2.5 yards, but it wasn't as long as the red plaid, so you might need about 3 yards to get the length that you need. I also applied the same concept for my dog. I tried to find a scarf that I already had on hand that was smaller, thinner, shorter in length for her, and I wrapped it around her just to kind of see how it would work. This scarf particularly I thought was a little too short, so when I measured it out, I cut just a little bit longer. But yeah, so what you're going to see is me putting together the scarf for myself, but I basically applied the same concept to the doggy scarf. So what I'm doing is, because I didn't have fabric scissors and the line that I cut, as you can see, is very rough, so what I did to make it a nice, crisp, clean cut line was I'm folding it over. Now I am testing this out with fabric glue, and if you do want to wash your scarves or any material, I would go with a fabric glue because it's going to hold up in your washing machine. But I can tell you from this particular project, the hot glue was working instantly and the fabric glue was not staying. So I was going to have to put books and weight on it so that it would like fold over and probably have to wait overnight for it to dry. I was not going to be that patient. And most of the time, I don't actually have to wash my scarves, so I'm throwing that disclaimer out there, so keep that in mind. But yeah, this is just how I want to do it, and the hot glue works really well, and I wouldn't be surprised if it kind of did hold up in the washing machine, especially if I put it on a delicate cold cycle, because I can't imagine that the cold water is going to unravel the glue, whereas maybe hot water would. I'm really not sure. I'm not like a hot glue gun expert. So anyway, so I'm basically just folding over the edges with some hot glue, and I'm doing the same thing wherever I see lines that aren't finished. So that's it. Now, the next thing that I want to do is add a trim to the bottom of my scarf. I know I wanted it to be plaid, but I wanted it to have a shabby chic feel to it as well, like a little girly vibe, and I thought that this lace detail trim was going to be perfect. Now, as you can see, once I cut it in half, it was not long enough, and I cut it in half for a reason, because I obviously need trim on 2 ends because your scarf has 2 ends. Unless you're making an infinity scarf, where then you wouldn't have any, but this particular scarf has 2 ends, and so I'm having to adjust to that. I didn't get enough trim, but that's okay. So I'm just cutting off extra material, which is fine with me because it probably would have ended up being a little bit too bulky. So as you can see now, it's perfect in width. So I'm just using my hot glue gun and I'm applying my trim. I will tell you that I burnt myself a couple times here because the lace sheer fabric is transparent and it might burn your skin, so be extra careful here. But that's it. So I did the same concept on the other end as well. I didn't record the tutorial for the doggy scarf because it was the same exact concept as my scarf minus the trim, but I will tell you, as you can see, I had to tie it in a knot at the top of the back of her head, and I really didn't like that. So what I had to end up doing was I took one end and I folded it over, and then at the very tip of the end I applied hot glue, and it made like a little loophole. So one end had a flap, and then I fed the other end that I didn't fold over through that loophole. I hope that makes sense. I really should have recorded it, but I guess I didn't, and I'm really sorry about that. But when I did that, as you can see here, it looks so much better, and she does not mind it at all when she's walking, and I really do feel like it keeps her nice and warm. But you can actually see the loop a little bit more here, and yeah, so I just feed it through, and then what I like to do is tuck it into her collar because then it really stays on and it doesn't unravel. And how adorable does she look? And we have matching scarf. And as a matter of fact, when I took her for a walk, I got compliments. People stopped in their car to tell me how adorable it was that she was wearing a scarf, and then they realized we had matching scarves. And I was like, well, yeah, I'm crafty girl. Hello. What'd you expect? Ultimately, this was a very quick, easy, inexpensive DIY. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. There's still time to make you and your puppy a cute little scarf. I really don't know if cats would like this or any other animal that you might have. I can't imagine birds would be down with it, but hey, you know, who am I to tell you who you can and can't make a scarf for? Thank you so much for watching Plaid Week Day 6, and I'll see you soon. Bye!